Hey, Butler Family Farm, how we doing? Sorry about that. I just had some major issues. Hey, Brett, I had to go find the camera that I hooked to this computer. I thought I left it where I'm sitting, and of course I didn't. That'd be too easy. So I had to go back upstairs to my office going, all right, well, here's the microphone. What happened to my camera? I thought I left it down here on the table, and I didn't. All right, so anyway, for those that don't know, I do own a print shop. And one of the things about owning a print shop is you have to learn how to do some form of graphics. And graphics is a work of art, to be honest with you, a major work of art. Some people can just walk right in and take over a tablet and draw a picture. And people like me, I'm 59 years old. I didn't start out drawing things when I was younger, so that was a big issue for me. And I think that's the same case with like a lot of the YouTube people is that, you want to have a nice logo, but you don't know where to go to get your logo and things like that. And I found this thing. It's called Kittle. And in Kittle, you can actually go into their AI designer and design things. Now, as a case in point for myself, I gotta stand up for this one. I actually designed this on Kittle. I think it turned out looking really well. And the one thing about Kittle is that you can just type in what you want to see. Do you want to see like a primary logo, a simple logo, or do you want to have something complex? With this shirt, I decided I wanted something a little more complex. So I went into Kittle AI and I said, okay, well, design me a cabin. I didn't want it in the woods. I didn't want it on a mountain. I just wanted a cabin. And I wanted it to be hand drawn because for me, printing it or putting it on the laser is a lot easier if it's a hand drawn looking thing. Well, I've done a lot of it. I mean, my shirt was the first, and I've done it for like quite a few whatnot channels and things like that. But the one thing that I didn't realize is that it doesn't always have to be hand drawn. And for my employee, Jim, he has a whatnot channel and he goes by the name of Hilltop Wooly. And he wanted something that represented a cabin on top of a hill. So I said, all right, cool. I want a cabin on top of a hill. And I had it design one. This is what it came up with. I'll be honest with you. There's my logo on the bottom. I'll be honest with you. I know a lot of artists that would be far, 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 far out of their realm to create something like that. You know what I'm saying? And when I put it together, I not only like did him some coffee mugs, so he's got them available for when he's doing his show. I kept one myself, that one there. And he's like, well, I want one of those night lights. And I was like, that's $20. He said, I'll pay you $20. That's not an issue. But what can you do with it? I don't know. Let me go play with this thing. So what I did is I took his picture. AI creeps me out to an extent, but I don't let AI drive me, you know what I mean? I use it to my advantage because AI has a big advantage of if you can tell the program what you want it to create, it can create it. I did it with my song. I don't know. Maybe you guys haven't heard this. I'll play it real quick just so you can hear it. Most people have. Most people haven't. I don't know. But I'll throw that in there real quick. All I did was said, hey, I want music that goes about maintaining the HalfAss Homestead. This is what they gave me.
On my HalfAss Homestead, I toil day by day, planting seeds in the soil, hoping they'll find their way. With the rusty old tractor and the trusty old mule, I keep this place running, trying to play it cool. I'm maintaining my half-ass homestead where the bluegrass grows. Working the land with my hands, that's how it goes. Though it ain't fancy, it's the life for me. Living off the land, happy and free.
So for something like that, I mean, I'm a musician, you know what I'm saying? And I don't play bluegrass for one. I'm a country boy. And I actually started out saying I wanted it to be country. I want something that's going to be country. It represents me. And I couldn't do it under country. And something in my head says, well, what happens if they do it under bluegrass? And that got thrown at me. And I was just like, yeah, that's the one. That's perfect. That's a fit. I'd like to have had it be a little longer, but that's okay. I don't care. It only needs to be just a couple verses to show the meaning of it. And so I enjoy that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? I really do. I turn my camera more so I'm not sitting so crooked here in this room, but in the same respect, I've got a light up here that says, it's over there, right behind the half-ass sign. I have a light up there that says, hey, if you turn your camera, that light's going to move with you, and then it's blinding. So at least this way here, it's kind of shadowed. These are all my YouTube cameras, by the way. There's a bunch of them up there. A lot of them. And then I also have a drone, which I didn't put up there because I want to keep the drone in the case. It's an EXO drone, and they aren't cheap. But, yeah, so I wanted to create things, and to be able to create things was the easiest way to do it was just go to AI and say, okay, Kettle, send me to your AI program. Let me tell you what I want you to create and see how well you can do creating it. And for that picture right there, that picture is worth a lot of money. And when I put it into Image R and said, okay, now I want to be able to engrave this on acrylic using my CO2 laser, it actually takes the picture, it sizes it, it crops it. You go in there and you can crop your picture. You have to upload it first. Then you crop your picture. Then you resize your picture. Then you tell them what material you're putting it on. And they give you an example of what it'll look like. On that one, it looked terrible. And I was like, wait a minute. What happens if I go over here and I say, okay, invert it? Basically saying everything that would have been left clear now becomes black, and everything that was been a different color now becomes clear. I inverted it, and I was like, yep, that's the one. And I printed it. And I'll be honest with you, he was super impressed by it. We did it first time around with one of his old logos that I made for him. And it was done on a round nightlight. And he didn't like it. He's like, yeah, I watch these guys with these square nightlights and they look so much better. I think I want mine on a square nightlight. And I got talking to him some more, and I said, well, what if we change up? And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, what if I give you a whole new picture for your channel? Basically just create something totally different than what you've got, because what he had didn't really represent anything to do with hilltops at all, and it didn't have anything to do with the kind of lifestyle he lives. And I was like, well, let me just go in and play with this one a little bit. I'll create something and I'll see if you like that better. And I did it. Well, then yesterday when he was here, we were doing coffee cups and t-shirts and stuff. We had a couple of Drifting Dreamers t-shirts we had to do. We had a couple of mine I had to do. We had a couple for Gary and Mary, Junk to Gems Homestead, to give them an example of what I can do. And he's like, what would that look like on the original picture of that on a coffee mug? And I said, I don't know, let's print it out and look at it. So we printed it out. And I was like, yeah, okay, let me put this into another program, which is, what the heck is the program I use? I don't have it on this computer to look at. Anyway, I put it into this other program, and I could say, okay, well, great. Now put it up to size. And I told it what size I wanted the picture to be. And I moved it down, and I moved it over, and I created 4. So what he did was, mind you, my midline graphics right there, logo, the E on that side right there is just a little bit cut off because he didn't leave enough space between the two sides. But what happens is when you get real close to the handle, see how this side kind of fades into the picture? But when you go to the other side, it goes to a crisp line. And that's because when you put it into a mug press, it doesn't close all the way tight to the handle. You can move the mug or you can do all kinds of stuff with it. So no matter what he would have done, my graphic wouldn't have worked out well with it. My idea was turn the graphic sideways and then put it between the two of them. And that may be what we do in the future. But by doing that, it says, okay, your options are wonderful. You can do whatever you want to do. And my new thing now, hi Lynn, how we doing? My new thing now is that, and Lynn, you're in on this one too. For everybody that's seen yeah, I mean, you're talking to somebody that does a lot of woodwork, and I'll be honest with you, I like what they do with that. When you put the baking soda in the water in a spray bottle and you spray a piece of wood, let it soak in for a couple minutes, hot on one side and out on the other, and just let them meet in the middle. Oh my God, those things are beautiful. I forget what it's called. It's some kind of a burning fracture or something like that. But anyway, so when I sent Mike and Lissa over to Drifting Dreamers 5, their coffee mugs, 8 out of 36 mugs were broken. That's a 22% loss for them. And it bothered me. I mean, I had him take a picture of it. And I took that picture right down to my post office to the postmaster, and I was like, hey, you know, we're friends down here. I want to know what's my recourse on this one, because, you know, you just cost one of my customers 22% of what he spent, and that cuts 22% off of his profit of what he can sell. So now he's got to raise his prices, and I can't trust you guys to mail stuff with fragile stickers on every side of the box, including the top and the bottom, to be able to do this. Then I don't know, maybe I'm shipping with the wrong people. And believe me, I do $50,000 a year in shipping out of this place, so I'm not a little customer. Well, they said, we can't do anything. You didn't have it insured. All right, fine. I'm not going to make Mike eat it. I'll eat it. So Mike sold a couple 4XL shirts, and those are all $21 a piece. And I told him, I said, I'm not charging you for the first 3 shirts that are 4XL. It just isn't going to happen. And it just happened that the first order was 2XL shirts, 4XL shirts, and the next order was a 4XL and a large. And I said, all right, well, that's cool. I can do that. So I took him, I only charged him for the large shirt because, you know, 8 big coffee mugs at $7.67 or whatever it was a piece with the shipping and handling and everything, was like, okay, well, this is how much money you lost, so this is how much money I'm going to give you back, and I'll write that off as my loss. I'll just tell them the cups got mailed to me and they were broken, and nobody needs to know the difference, you know. It's not like the government's going to come in here and start counting how many coffee mugs I got on the shelf. But I decided after that video that I watched of him opening them boxes, I was like really, really, really upset. And I found a company that's called customboxes.io. IO stands for input, output. You put in what you want, we'll put out what you ask for. They're not cheap. They're not cheap at all. And is it working or twerking there, Brett? I find myself in my wood shop twerking more than I'm working, trying to get around everything because it's so cramped. All right, but anyway, so what I did is I reached out to custombox.io, and I told them, I says, look, I need boxes, and this is the size box that I want, and I want it printed on all 4 sides, and this is the graphic that I want. And, you know, my price of the box originally with no print on it started at 41 cents a piece. At the end of the day, they were like $1.35 a piece, something like that. I said, I don't care. Because now, rather than me taking a whole case of coffee mugs and shipping it to a customer, and then having them open it up, finding broken ones is not the right way to do it, but have them open that up put those coffee mugs into another box, and then ship it to their customers, that's a pretty good expense. I mean, it's a really good expense. It's about $4.80 to even ship a coffee mug, not counting the cost of the box and stuff. Hi, Beverly. How we doing? So I decided I was buying these boxes. I think I bought, I don't know, 50 or 100. I think it was like 100. And right after no, we're not related, Lynn. Although I don't know. I say that our names are spelled the same. Probably somewhere down the long line we are. But I ordered these boxes. They'll be here sometime next week. And so my announcement tonight to Spilling the Beans is if anybody wants to order coffee mugs for their channel, get one to be able to show people and say, look, this is the mug we're going to do, and list them for sale. I will send you your coffee mug for free. You send me the graphic, I will make the coffee mug. I'll ship you the coffee mug. That way you have it physically in your hand, see the quality, and you can show it on your camera or whatever, or put it in your store. I will ship those mugs out of my house to your customers as print on demand, same as I'm doing with the t-shirts. Because t-shirts, it makes no sense. Again, why would I print out a bunch of t-shirts and send them all over to Mike and Lissa in a big box, and then have to have them take them down to the post office and then ship them out again? It makes more sense for me to do it here. I'm already set up for it. We sell seeds and we ship them every single day. So we've got the postage programs and everything already set up. But one thing I did do is I went out. Last week's video was complaining about Dymo with their 4X or their 5XL label printer. I did find a 4XL printer, which is what we use in the seed house. Very slightly used. I mean, this thing is like brand new. There's not a scratch on it. And I bought that. I brought it into the upstairs print shop office, and I said, okay, now we're doing our own postage up here, because I don't want to go to the upper floor and print shirts or coffee mugs or anything like that, and then have to take them all the way outside into another building, into the seed house, and say, okay, now I can print and ship these things. So that's not the way I want it to work. What's that behind me on my shoulder? Well, if you're talking about that right there, that's a window. Talk about that over there, that's another window. And if you're looking up here, these are all cameras. I can't really do it with my finger too well. These are all the cameras I use for YouTube. Above that, I've got a bookshelf with some of my best books. And then over here on this other side, these are all coffee mugs, or coffee tumblers, drink tumblers kind of thing. Let me grab one. I'll show you what they look like. I got one right close by. All right. Well, all right, there we go. Tripped over the camera cord. They're coffee tumblers. They're not all like this. Some of them are just straight instead of having really small and then going bigger on the sides or whatever. Those up there, almost all are like a little more on the start wide and go narrow. But with tumblers like this, if I can take your logo and run it through ImageR. Hi, Scotty the Hottie. How we doing? Hey, don't you know? If I can take a tumbler like this with your logo, and I can remove this color, and I've got lots of colors to play with. I can remove this color and bring it back to where the stainless steel actually shines in through the coffee mug. And I'm actually getting ready to order a bunch of these in black, because black is like really popular. They'll keep your drink cold or hot for quite a long time and stuff, and I like that part. Hey, Will's Garage, how we doing? And so I really like that as being the option, is saying, hey, you know what, it would be good to be able to do the coffee tumblers and stuff like that as well, and be able to do them on an as needed. So it would be one of those, you know, print on demand again. You get one to show everybody. You get to print it out, or you get to show it out there. You tell people what you want for your price. You send me the order. I send you an invoice. Once your invoice is paid, we bring it into the shop. We print it, and we ship it out immediately. I mean, immediately. my employee Jim, who works out in the seed house, he's one of those guys that I don't like him working in my seed house. I'll be honest with you, I really don't. He's one heck of a good woodworker. This room that I'm in right here, he built this whole room for me when I was injured 2.5 years ago. Because I told him, I need a place where I can be in my own house on the first floor without having to go up and downstairs, because I couldn't do that. And have a room where, because I smoke, I need a room where I can smoke and I can watch TV and whatnot. And yes, I do have a nice TV down here, right next to my laser. And I said, I need this room. It needs to be warm. That was one of the other things I did. If I can show it. Yeah, right there. That little heater right there, that's a heat storm. Now, mind you, this room is only 8 foot by 14 feet long or something like that. That little heat storm heater, I can download an app on my phone and I can turn it on, I can turn it off, I can turn the fan up, turn the fan down, I can do all kinds of stuff with it. But that thing heats this room, it's never less than 69 degrees in this room. And it's not that expensive to run. When we first built this, we started out with one of the oil-filled radiator type heaters. And it worked. But the problem was it never shut off because it didn't have the forced air. And of course up here I got the ceiling fan above it. It's not turned on right now because I've been rearranging that shelf and going through my inventory. But that actually takes the heat that's at the ceiling level and pushes it back down, so the air is always constantly circulating in this room. I got another door over here beside me that leads into my kitchen, and that one is always open, as well as, well, yeah, go back this way. That window right there is always up and always open, because the last thing I want to do is be in an area where people scare me. I don't hear them coming through or whatever, and all of a sudden, you're watching TV or you're enjoying your coffee in the morning or whatever, and all of a sudden somebody speaks to you and you didn't know they were even in the area. I do the same thing with my upstairs office. My upstairs office doorway actually has a doorbell on it. So when you open that door upstairs, it goes ding dong, ding dong. And the reason why I did that is because my girlfriend walks super quiet. It's the only way I can word it. She walks super quiet. So if I'm upstairs and I'm on my computer and I'm watching a YouTube video or something like that, she'd walk right up behind my shoulder and speak. Okay, well, I don't need to have a heart attack. I'm 59 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I put that doorbell in mainly because of her, but also because I wanted everybody else to understand that, hey, this is my office. If I'm up here working, I don't want you to just walk up here and start talking to me, and that gives me a little forewarning that you're coming up. So maybe I can stop, talk to you, and then carry on or whatever. But I don't like the factor of being scared by people by having them walk up and just, hey, if somebody walks up and taps me on the shoulder and I'm not expecting anybody to be in the whole building, and now I'm there by myself, or thought I was, and somebody taps me on the shoulder, I'll tell you what. I may not have a heart attack, but I can almost guarantee you somebody's going to have a black eye before they go walking out the door. Yeah, super quiet walkers are scary as hell, and I don't know how my girlfriend does it. I go up and down the stairs, upstairs to my office, and those stairs squeak and crack and everything else when I'm going up. She weighs just about as much as I do, and she can sneak up them things. I don't know if she's walking on the outside edges just to do it on purpose to me or whatever. And it's almost like she doesn't have shoes on her feet. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that kind of stuff. All right, so let me try something here. I'm not real sure if I can make this work. I did some studying on it, and they said, yes, you can. And I'm just going to have to play it for a minute. Yeah, this is going to be different. I don't mean to sound like I'm ignoring anybody, but this new computer is like really, oh. All right. Probably should have already had this set up before, but I didn't because I wasn't too sure it was going to work. So I'm getting it set up now. All right, yeah, live stream. That's going to be today's live stream. That's what we're setting up for. Yep, that's the one. All right, so our word is going to be hashtag. Oh, that's not a hashtag. Oh, come on, no. All right, we're not going to use hashtags because the computer just went back to a different keyboard, and I don't remember how to set it back. Oh yeah, I do too. Hold on, I'm looking at it right here right now. My keyboard switched from English United States to English United Kingdom. I don't know why, but if you do that, you don't get a hashtag. You get the lira sign. And I'm not trying to charge anybody here. All right, so tonight's hashtag is going to be T-shirt. Okay, I'm coming back over here to StreamYard Studio. My girlfriend is younger than I am, Lynn, by like 3 years, I believe, or 4 years. All right. I have to do this. Of course, naturally, if I win, I'm not going to accept it. We're going to go somewhere else, but there we go. All right. Hashtag T-shirts, the word we're looking for. I have to remember how to do all this because this is the first time for me. But what you'll be winning is a T-shirt for HalfAss Homestead. They're all done in white. And you can tell me what size you want. I've got small, medium, large, extra large, 2XL, 3XL, and 4XL available at this time. And that's actually kind of a funny story. While we're waiting for people to enter into this one, that's kind of a funny story. Is that Mike and Lissa were ordering T-shirts, and theirs were all done in silver. And I ran out of 4XL silver T-shirts on the first order, and I was like, "What? I ran out? Well, put an emergency order in." Yeah, it was definitely my first time, Ace. Hopefully it goes well. But I put an emergency order in and said, I need these and I need these now. Well, what I didn't realize is I picked silver as the shirt I was looking at the time. When I put the order in, it was for all white T-shirts. And I ordered a bunch of them. I mean, we're talking more than a case of T-shirts. Hi, Wanda Henry. How we doing? T-shirts stored. We're looking for Wanda. So I ordered all these T-shirts, and when they came in, I just left the box sitting there for a day, and I said, all right, well, now I got to go over there, and I got to open that box up and get out the T-shirts I need and start folding the rest of them. I opened that box, and I'm like, these are all white. I didn't want white. I wanted silver. And so I went and I looked at the invoice for them, and yep, sure enough, the invoice said white T-shirts, and I was like, oh, bummer. I was like, all right, well, go to a different supplier who can ship them overnight to me and tell them I need the silver ones. This is the size I need. And I did that and got them the next day. And of course, got their order done and sent it out. But I was like, wow, now what do I do with all these white T-shirts? And I thought about it. You know, my logo, because it's black, would look great on a white T-shirt. And also somebody else's does as well. They'll be announcing that in their own pretty soon here. But Gary and Mary Excuse, if you guys know them, keep an eye on their channel. It's called Junk to Gems. I'm sending them a care package probably Monday. I finished putting some of it together today, so it'll probably going out in Monday's mail. They won't have it for, I'm going to say, 3 to 5 days, and then it'll be up to them to when they actually go through and do their video and tell you what's going on with it or whatnot. But it'll be pretty cool. I can find V-necks with pockets. Yeah, but I got t-shirt suppliers that can get me anything I want. I don't do V-necks, and I surely don't do the pockets because in a print and press situation on my part, hey, House on the Hill, how we doing? Our keyword of the night right there is hashtag t-shirt. Um, to be able to print on a pocket changes everything I set up, and it also changes the size of the logo to fit the pocket. And I don't want to do that. Yeah, I understand that, Brett. I do. These right here, I'll tell you, this is a medium shirt, and you won't feel like you're getting choked in these shirts by any means, no matter which one you buy, even a small one. You won't feel like you're getting choked. And these are actually longer than the normal t-shirt. Like if you go to Walmart and buy a package of t-shirts, they barely make it past the belt line. These things go halfway down my knees. So they're almost like a tall shirt. Well, that's another part about these. These are breathable polyester shirts, kind of like Gary and Mel like over there to Simple Life Reclaimed. If you get wet in the rain or whatever, and you got a bit of a breeze, you'll be dry before you get cold. So that's a good thing about it. Hey, Radio, did you sneak in here? There you are. All righty. Hey, Radio, Jonesy, hashtag t-shirt. That's the word of the night. I'm giving away t-shirts tonight, or at least one anyway for the start. I don't know how many followers I've got on YouTube right now, so I'm not going to give away too many because, you know, that's money. But in the same respect, it also shows people what my capabilities are, so I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, so, you know, like I was saying, the coffee tumblers is something I'm going to be working with here probably this week. They're shipping out individual coffee mugs rather than send people a case and having them end up with 22% of them being broken when they receive them, and then finding boxes and being able to ship it out themselves and stuff. I can eliminate all that pain and just say, well, I can just do it here because I'm already set up for it, you know. I bought a new printer, same as what I use out in the seed house. It's up in my print shop office. I have a scale up there so I can weigh the package. I've got measuring tapes everywhere up there because that's my tool storage area right now. So I can measure the packages, I can weigh the packages, and I can print the shipping labels. And then it's just a matter of, well, they got to make it outside sooner or later. And it just so happens that my employee, Jim, when he's working upstairs with me, has to come down those stairs and go out to the seed house to make sure everybody else that rides with him is ready to leave. So I just like to say, hey, you know what? Carry these down, put them in the seed house. They can get mailed out the next day or whatever. When we mail out in like really, really big mail bags. I mean, these things hold probably 100 orders each, give or take, depending on what size packaging we use. But about 100 orders each, and it can weigh up to 65, 70 pounds each. But when we go to ship that out, we print out what is called a scan form, and that scan form then gets given to my postmaster locally when we give her the mail, and all she does is scans one barcode, and it tells her everything that's in that bag, and she gets credit for all of our shipping. The seed house on the other side, it doesn't end up on the scan form. Even though it's done with the same account and everything else, it doesn't end up on that scan form. So everything I ship has to be given to the postmaster. She has to individually scan each one. And it's okay. I mean, Leanne doesn't mind, and I've already forewarned her on it. I said, you know, there's two different labels. Out in the seed house, it goes out as David Moffett sent you a package. And at the bottom it says, thank you for your order, $. In the print shop, it says Midline Graphics sent you a package, and then thank you for your order on the bottom. So, and the seed house goes to a Portland address, which is the main post office for our county. Mine goes to the local post office, and it has my actual street address on it. So if anybody wants to come visit me, order something. You'll find out where I live. Yeah, Brett. I actually started out with screen printing, and I'll be honest with you, I don't screen print. None of this is screen printed. This shirt right here, this is all dyed right into the fabric of the shirt. I mean, you can stretch it, you can pull it, you can do whatever you want. That's dyed into the fiber of the shirt. You know what I'm saying? It'll never crack, it'll never peel, it'll never fade, and it'll never wear out. As long as that shirt is something that you can wash and wear, the print on that shirt will last the lifetime of the shirt because it dyes the fibers rather than put something like ink on top of it and tries to embed it. Yeah, it's much better. It's called sublimation printing. It uses special printers, it uses special paper, and it uses special ink. But you know, when it comes time to screen print, I think screen printing probably, if it weren't for the cost of having to create a screen and then wash it out when you're done, the cost of the ink is pennies, where sublimation printing is it's close to $1 a sheet. But it's so much better. It's so much better. And when I first started, and I can do full color, where screen printing, like the shirts I did for Drift and Dreamer 5 and the coffee mugs and whatnot. Again, got some new people in here. These coffee mugs, I can do these full color. You know what I'm saying? We're going full color on these things. Try doing that with screen printing, especially on mugs and things like that. It's tough. There are people that do it, but I don't want to do it. And the same thing with like the shirts. If you look at Drift and Dreamers 5, that is one full color shirt done in one shot. Yeah, it is. It's messy, it's involved, and if you're playing with a lot of colors, you're talking about a machine that has the need to have a lot of screens. Most of them are like restricted. I think the maximum I've ever seen for a screen press is 12 colors. Of course, you can do like the halftones and stuff like that with it, but you're based on how many screens can you put onto a machine. And most of the ones that have 12 are also based on what they call fully operated mechanical. You know, you set everything up, you push a button, you walk away and tell it how many times you want to do it. Now all you do is just put a shirt on, take a shirt off, put a shirt on, take a shirt off. But that's expensive. My friend Lee Stewart up in Canada does that. And he's got a lot of money wrapped up in his shop, but he also has some really good sponsors in his shop that allow him to do all this different stuff. For me, it just makes more sense to print all colors all at once and done, you know. I print it on a piece of paper, I put it onto the shirt, I heat press it for so long, I take it off and done. Like these coffee mugs, for instance. Each coffee mug takes about 4 minutes to print. 250 seconds, so a little over 4 minutes to print each one. And then you got to set them aside and you got to let them cool. So you got to have a place where you can put them down where they're not going to burn something or whatnot, because you're pulling them out at 400 degrees. But it's out there, and to me, it makes a lot of sense. Now, one thing I will say about screen printing is they have changed the way that the emulsion gets put onto the screens. They've changed the way that the picture gets put onto the screens. There's actually a process now where they just lay it onto a conveyor belt as a brand new screen, and it goes into a machine. It automatically coats just the part of the screen that needs to be coated and not the part that needs to be printed. And then when they get all done running that screen, they wash all of the ink off of it and stuff, and they run it through another machine, and it takes all of the emulsion off that screen and leaves you with a brand new screen again. To me, that's awesome. But that's also a whole lot of money, you know. And just in my screen printing experience, what little bit I have, I was doing boxes for the seed house. And everybody said, well, if you can do boxes, you can do T-shirts. So I advertised I could do T-shirts. I think I did about probably 7 T-shirts or 8 T-shirts for one guy. I was totally disappointed. He wanted blueprint on safety yellow T-shirts. Well, the problem with screen printing is, you know, typical. What's blue and yellow equal when you mix those two colors together? Green. So I printed a shirt. It came out green. And because I use water-based ink and not, you know, the regular emulsion ink or whatever they call it, I was using water-based inks because they're better for the environment. Once you print it, you have to take it off the press. You have to let it dry. Then you have to put it on a heat press and then set the ink into the shirt. He liked what they looked like, and I was like, wow, okay, well, they're green and you wanted blue, but, you know, you get what you got. Actually, I'll see if I can get this closer so you can see what it looks like. don't mind the wax circles on it and all that stuff, because we do our own board butter here. And this was like my filling station for a while, and I never cleaned it off. But oh, there it goes. That car hauler right there was a car hauler that I hired an artist to draw for me, just to use on his t-shirts. Just to use on his t-shirts. And I did it on the board because I needed to find out what my settings were going to be or whatever for it. Because before I did his shirts, I took his logo, the picture of the truck with his trucking name and his phone number and all that stuff, and I put it onto a clipboard, a laser. And I took it over to him. I says, "Is this what you want your shirts to look like?" And he's like, "Holy crap." I was like, "Well, is it?" He's like, "Yeah, it's exactly what I want them to look like." I says, "All right, good. Now I'll go create the shirt." Well, Radio Jonesy, it's always better on a computer. It's easier to be able to go in and reply. All right, so well, we went out a whole lot around and around on that one. All right, so who wants to win a t-shirt? Magic word tonight is t-shirt. I'm gonna see if I can bring the StreamYard giveaway tool into the screen. They say I can, but I have to find out how. It says present, share the screen. Yeah, it's easy as 2 monitors. That's all great. I want to share the screen with the giveaway tool. There we go. All right, and share. Well, I guess that's a little wider than what I was hoping for. Let's see if we can get back in here and make that a little bit smaller. There we go. All right, so t-shirt. That's the magic word of the night. What's on my t-shirt right now? This is HalfAss Homestead. You got the cabin in the woods kind of thing. That's the logo for it. That's the t-shirt we're giving away. And we're ready to draw. I've not seen any new people coming in. We're up to 17. That's good. Don't forget to give a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already. All right, let's go do this draw. Here we go. Okay, well, maybe I gotta go back to this one and say, there we go. Now we're up. Well, that's not as easy as everybody makes it look. Oh, wait, I can't win. I can't win. Somebody else has got to do this one. How do I do this? Refresh. And back to live. Going back. Same hashtag. I'm not winning my own shirt, so. Lindy Okie, there you go. Lynn, I believe I already have your information, but if you could, you can send me an email. I'll put my email address down here in the banner real quick here. There you go. Email me that and send me your address, and life will go on. Let me stop sharing this screen if I can. There we go. Yeah, send me an email and with your address, and I'll get the shirt out to you. But also in that email, I need you to also include what size shirt you want. Like I say, I've got small, medium, large, extra large, 2XL, 3XL, and 4XL. They've been taking out space, and that's why I'm trying to push them out a little bit. But I'm going to be ordering more anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, Lynn, thank you. All right, so does anybody have any questions? I guess I'd keep rambling on about all kinds of stuff, and nobody really asks me much, other than whether or not Beverly Moffett and I are related, or she's my girl. All right. What I use, Brett, is it's called sublimation printing. It uses sublimation ink. It has to be done in a Epson EcoTank printer that's never had regular ink put into it. So you got to buy a brand new printer to do it. The one I use is the Epson EcoTank 15,000. That way I can do up to 13 by 19 prints. The ink is not cheap. And then for the paper, I use TexPrint. It's called TexPrint Light XP paper. And that runs about $1 a sheet. Don't you know, I live in New York right now, but I'm looking to move to Arkansas. And then for the t-shirts, it has to be 100% polyester, but there's two companies I religiously rely on. One is Port & Company, because they're really good. Hey, how we doing? The Port & Company t-shirts I rely heavily on because for them, it's more of a shinier type shirt. It's a lighter shirt. So I really like their shirts, especially during summertime when it's hot out. But then there's another company, like I did for Mike and Lissa's shirt, the original ones, was through a company called Jersey. Yes, I print the shirt and then I transfer it with a heat press. The Jersey shirts, I didn't know it at the time, but they only make them up to size 2XL. And I was like, what? Why? Cost of materials. That's all it is. Cost of materials. They started out and they said, we'll make shirts from junior kids all the way up to 2XL, but nothing bigger, because that changes the way the equipment works. That changes the way our shop is laid out, and we're not going to do it. So that's how I reached out to Port & Company and started doing it. The Jersey shirts are more like a cotton feel shirt. You know what I'm saying? Like you just put on a regular t-shirt and walked out the door, and that's what they feel like. It feels like a regular cotton t-shirt. I actually have more than enough cotton t-shirts, because when I started the print business up, I went out and I bought all sizes of all colors of t-shirts I could imagine anybody wanting, and I have a room full of t-shirts. I mean, boxes upon boxes upon boxes. Every box says, this is what's in the box for color, this is what's in the box for size, how many are in this box left of each size. When I finally run out of them, however I do it, then I will be able to just say, get rid of it. Radio Jonesy, that's funny, because when I was doing the giveaway, they told me I should be on 2 screens, and I'm like, I can't. I can't hook another monitor to my laptop that I'm using right now. It's actually funny. This is the first laptop I've ever owned that didn't come with a built-in camera. I'm actually using the USB camera beside the laptop because it didn't come with one built in. It did come with a really good microphone, or at least tell me if you can't hear what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm not listening to it. But it came with a really good microphone, but it didn't come with a built-in camera. And I'm like, what's up with that? You know, I mean, I know I didn't pay a lot of money for the computer, but to me, it was always standard that they always, hi Beach Feet. It was always standard that every laptop came with a built-in camera, because my MO for these kind of laptops was, you know, the metal binder clips that you can buy. I'd always grab one and I'd put a binder clip over top of the camera, because I've had times where sitting in my living room watching TV, the green light for the camera or blue light for the camera would come on. And I'm like, what? Somebody's watching me watch TV? Seriously? So I put binder clips on all of my laptops. and they're still there on all of them. Every computer we own that has a camera built into it has a binder clip over the camera, or it has a piece of electrical tape over the camera. And I don't need people watching what's going on around here. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Micto, you finally got in. Cool. Might go a little bit longer tonight just because, I don't know. As lazy days ahead still doing theirs. They were doing a pretty big giveaway tonight. I actually almost didn't make it to my own because I was getting invested in theirs. I came in late, I will admit, but that was because I came down, got everything ready to go to find out I didn't have a camera connected to the computer. I had to go find my camera. Yeah, quit watching me, watching you. I'll be honest with you, Brett. You know, one of the things I used to do with the laptop, when that camera would light up and I'd notice it, I'd just reach over, grab the top of the laptop, fold it down, and let them look at the ceiling fan going around and around and around. You know what? Screw you. Now you got that. You might be able to pick up some audio in my house, which is pretty much can be what's broadcast on TV anyway, because we don't. If it's a show we're watching, we don't really talk a whole lot unless it's commercial. So you can watch that ceiling fan going around and around and around all night long if that's your heart's desire. But, to me, I'm just like, yeah, I kind of don't like people invading on my privacy. And that is a major problem with almost every laptop computer, actually. In my computer shop, I actually had, I thought it was funny. I actually had a remote camera set up. I ran it off of like a 25-foot USB cord, and it sat up on a shelf. Now, mind you, on that shelf, there was all kinds of computer parts and everything else, and that camera sat like almost dead center on the shelf. And I put electrical tape over the lights, so nobody would ever know if the camera was on or not. They didn't know it was plugged in. And my brother and his girlfriend at the time came to our house, and my brother was in the sling. Well, I called my sister-in-law on the phone, his girlfriend. I said, hey, what the hell happened to Donnie's arm? His old that stupid asshole got drunk last night and walked into a fence and dislocated his shoulder and broke his rotator cuff. Wow, that must have hurt. Michigan Lifeboat 45th, how we doing? I was like, okay, so, that must have hurt. And she's like, yeah, he's in a lot of pain. I was like, all right, well, talk to you later. I hung up. And then she looks over at my wife and she says, hey, how did he know that Donnie's arm was in a sling? And Barbie's like, I don't know. They're brothers. They hang out together all the time. Maybe they got ESP or something. I don't know. But yeah, I had that camera up there. Hey, not your daddy. I had that camera up there running for almost 2 years with nobody even knowing the camera was on. Nobody even knowing. And it was like I had ESP, Hey, Jimmy's sleeping on the couch. Why don't you go down and shut the TV off and turn the lights off? And when he wakes up, he can find his own way back upstairs to get to his bed, kind of thing, And they never knew that I had a camera down there, ever. And I thought it was funny. I don't know. But me, like I said, I don't like my privacy invaded. The only reason why I had that camera running at all was because I needed to keep track of where my computer parts were and stuff for my shop, and make sure nobody was, walking out with stuff that cost hundreds of dollars or whatever. All right, let's see what else we can talk about. All right, well. Anybody here interested in things that are laser related? I can kind of drift off in that direction a little bit here. I've got some products down here I can show you. And I'll tell you right now, if you want to take a CO2 laser or a diode laser and print on metal, have your wallet ready because they're proud of these products. I'll grab them. Hold on. Oh. All right. We'll start out with one that everybody says works. What was the beans? My ability to print shirts and mugs, and that I'm going to be individually shipping them out. And I'm also giving away t-shirts tonight. Keep hanging out if you want to. We've got 15 people in here. I'll probably give away another t-shirt. Lindy Oakey from the last one. Everybody swears it has these lasers that you can use dry moly lube, particularly this brand, to print on metal. I got news for them. No, you can't. No, you can't. Set this one aside because that's different. And so I went out and I reached out and I was like, okay, well, I need one that's a black metal laser spray. And everybody said, go to Brilliance. Get the black metal laser spray. It works on everything. $85 a can. This is a 12-ounce can. No, it doesn't. I reached out to another guy and he says, oh, okay. Well, if you're not having luck with those, maybe you need to try this one. This is called Laser Bond 100, LT, Laser Bond Technologies, 12-ounce can, $80 a can. This one actually works. I was able to do a Zippo lighter only with this one. But then I was working on what they call white tiles. And everybody says, well, you can use this on a white tile. You can do this on a white tile. You can do this. You can do that. And I'll be honest with you, I was buying tiles by the case, $20 a box. And there's, I don't know how many tiles are in a box. They're 4 inch by 4 inch coaster size tiles. And I tried printing on them with 100 different products, including using regular spray paint, using it in, and then using the remover to take the overspray off. And it wasn't, if you get any spray around the outside edge of the tile where it's not ceramic or where it's not glazed, it sticks to it, makes it look like that. So I got away from that. And I got playing around and I said, well, wait a minute. The original Enduramark didn't work for what I was trying to do. So I reached back out to them and I got this one. It's called Enduramark Charcoal Glass Laser Marking Spray for glass and ceramics. Okay. And again, it's a 12-ounce can. This can was $120. It's supposed to be a spray the tile, run it through the laser, stick it underwater, and wash it right back off, and it's done. No, that's a lie too. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So I gave up on them. You know, I do mirrors where I go in and I can take the back of the mirror off. Or with probably that Enduramark, I could probably go in and spray the front of a mirror and be able to etch the glass on the front of the mirror because it makes it so it can't reflect back up onto the laser beam and ruin the laser. So that's probably a good possibility for that. I haven't played with it yet. The other alternative is just to go out and buy the cheapest black paint you can find at the dollar store or Walmart or whatever. It's not a spray paint. It's a water-based paint. And you put it into like a, I got a couple of them over here. Oh, what do they call it? Anyways, it's like a air sprayer. Comes with a compressor, you know, the airbrush and all that, the airbrush system. You put it into that with some water in it and just lightly coast the mirror. Let it dry for a couple seconds, lightly coast it in the opposite direction, and then let that dry a couple minutes. Put it in the laser out what you want to do, then take it in and wash the paint off because it's water-based paint. I haven't done any of that. We used to do a lot of mirror engraving, 12 by 12 mirrors. My wood shop was actually set up to be able to do custom framing around them, so we could make a frame out of whatever wood or paint, whatever color you wanted it or whatever. And we could put anything on a mirror. Sometimes we'd use what was called liquid etch. Sometimes we would use a soda blaster to remove the backing of the mirror to be able to put a picture behind it or whatever, along with other chemicals to clean the foil layers off. And sometimes we'd go in and we'd do it with a sandblaster using glass beads. And we put out a lot of really, really cool products. A lot. I mean, I'm going to say in my wood shop at one time, we probably had 30 mirrors in production getting sent out. So it was really, really cool. And I enjoyed it. No, you don't have to mask up using the sprays. Every one of them is safe for you. I enjoyed the way we were doing the mirrors. Of course, now when you get into doing etching mirrors that way, you have to go out and you have to buy a vinyl plotter, and you have to buy vinyl, and you have to learn how to use it all. And of course, you got to have a computer to run it by and all that stuff. So you mask the whole mirror, you etch what you want to etch, you sandblast what you want to sandblast, or you go in and you soda blast what you want to soda blast, and then take it up and do the cleaning of it and everything afterwards or whatever. And one of the hardest ones we ever did, and I really, really liked it. Laser labeled egg cartons. I'm hoping you're saying cardboard cartons because I'm thinking styrofoam it'll burn right through it. Although my CO2 laser will do cardboard. They don't give you the settings for it, so I'd have to play with it. Yeah, redesign laser cut egg cartons by all means. Yeah, you don't want to take what everybody else is using. You want yours to be special. That's the purpose of putting things on the carton to begin with, is to brand name it. The doing all of those mirrors and learning different methods of things and what chemicals needed to be used where and how and all that stuff, and don't take the vinyl off until you wash the mirror and let it dry, and then look at it to make sure that there wasn't some kind of a cleaner or grease or something on the mirror that it wouldn't let the chemical react. All kinds of things like that. We played with that. We dealt with it. I think we did probably a total of about 350 mirrors that way. And then when we moved here, I shut it down. I was like, I don't have the space. I don't have the time. I don't have the want or the need. Now, I'm getting more back into playing with lasers again. Another thing we do with lasers is really cool. We do coasters. Your name on this one is burnt a little bit heavier than it should be under there because it kind of like melted the slate. But if I put it into my imaging program and put the word in and then bring it back to the laser, then it's a little bit better. And these all have 3 feet on the back, evenly spaced, so we don't rock or tip over or whatever. Another one I played with, and I've got quite a few of these, were bottle opener keychains. I don't know how many of them I've got, but I've got quite a few of them. And, it's one of them things. Amazon's my best friend. Amazon's my best friend for both businesses. Like today, we ran out of ink for the printer out there to print our orders. Hey, Amazon, yeah, I need ink. Can I have it tomorrow? Yep, sure. Okay, great. Thanks. I ordered something else the other day. I don't remember what it was, but I ordered something, and because my employee Jimmy said, "Hey, by the way, we're out of this." Okay, great. I went to Amazon. I ordered it, and within 1 hour, it was already shipped. I think it's probably here today. I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but I mean, it's trust me. Amazon and I do about $1,000 worth of business a day, so I'm not up on what all am I buying on Amazon. It's always okay. What do we need? What's the fastest way to get it here? Like my custom boxes for shipping the coffee mugs individually. That's probably not the fastest way to do it. I could probably put them on the laser and do it myself, but I don't want to spend the time doing it. My time is taken up doing other things right now. I'm promoting seed business like crazy. I'm promoting the print shop. Oh, that's another thing we can talk about. Yeah, this is funny. This is actually real funny. Last Thursday, I got a phone call out of the cold on my cell phone. And I was like, hello? Of course, it comes up, spam. Yeah, okay, whatever. I answered it. I always do. The guy says, hi. I'm calling for Midline Graphics. And I says, yeah, you're talking to Dave. What can I do for you? And he says, Dave, what's your relationship with the company? And I says, I'm the owner. He says, oh, okay. That's kind of cool. Yeah, lasers are a lot of fun. He says, all right, that's cool. He says, well, the reason why I'm calling is my name is Justin, and I'm calling you from ESPN Radio Tri-Cities. And we're getting ready to fire up for March Madness. And I was wondering if maybe you might be interested as being the only apparel company for custom apparel and gifts that we could list as being the sponsor for our veterans announcement. And I was like, how much? How much time do I get? And what's it going to say? And he went through the whole spiel, and I said, well, you know, I'm a veteran too. And he says, oh, okay, well, I'll start it out better then. He writes down on a piece of paper and says, okay, this is a veteran-owned business as well. I was like, all right, that's cool. What's it going to cost me? It's $400. All right. For how much airtime? He says, well, we're going to do the whole commercial like I just read to you. And believe me, I'm no Bill Harvey or anybody like that. He says, or Paul Harvey. He says, I'm not like the radio announcers. They'll do a much better job. But they'll do all that speaking and stuff that I just did for you 2 times on the first week for $400, or they'll do it 8 times for the first 2 weeks of the March Madness for $750. And I was like, well, I don't want to do $750. I'll do $400. He's like, all right, well, if you do that, hi, Sheila Tubbs, how you doing? He says, all right, well, he says, if you do that, if you give me 100 of that today, he says, we'll send you all of our media information so you can share it on like YouTube and your website and all that stuff to tell people when you're going to be on air and what times and whatnot, you know, what days. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Do I need to? No, not really. But I was just impressed. I was like, wow, I'm the only apparel company you reached out to, you know. And it turned out to be they wanted somebody to do for veterans, and I'm a veteran, and I was like, well, I can't think of a better way to do it than that. And to be honest with you, for 10 radio ads that are probably in the neighborhood of about 30 seconds each during March Madness on ESPN Tri-City Radio, which is all of Tennessee, part of Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, areas like that, probably I'll have the reach. It's AM and FM stations. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. If I get those little squiggly lines in my peripheral vision, right, you know what that tells me? Sit down, take an Advil, drink something, preferably alcohol, so it goes into your bloodstream faster. Close your eyes and wait 15 minutes, because otherwise you probably got a headache on its way. I know I do. I get them little floaters going on every now and then, and it's stress related. And when that happens, it's a headache on its way, and if I don't address it right away, it will be there within 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, head don't hurt, but wait a little bit and you'll see. It's probably either oxygen or stress related. Breathe, damn it. Hi, James. Yeah, for me, that was a big flashback. I learned my lesson on that one. I've actually had days where I would get a whole lot of like floaters and wiggly lines and stuff like that, and not pay attention to it while I was at work, and I'd have to leave work and find my way to like the gas station or across the way to a watering hole and go in and spend a fortune on aspirin or Advil or whatever I could get my fingers on, drink a beer, and not go back to work for the rest of the day, because even though I was able to get it to not bring the whole headache, by the time I got rid of it, it was just like, wow, it's not something you want to play with. Nothing I want to play with anyway. That's almost like walking into a migraine headache, and I'm not prone to migraine headaches, but when I see those things happening, I know I've got a doozy coming on, and that pretty much takes care of my whole day at that point. Yeah, you know what else, Brett, I thought was really weird? We went to Virginia Beach on the weekend of 9/11. Or no, not 9/11, I'm sorry, on the weekend of January 6th. We were supposed to go to the January 6th rally, but they took away all the parking spots. It was like a 3-4 mile walk to get from where we would be able to park to where President Trump was speaking. So I told my girlfriend, we made it this far, screw it. Let's just go the rest of the way to Virginia Beach. We'll get a hotel room on the beach and we'll just spend the weekend there. And we did. And you can't smoke in any of the hotel rooms naturally. And being a smoker, you got to go outside. So they gave me a room that had this really nice balcony overlooking the beach and the ocean and stuff. And right down there by where that fishing pier is, where that car just drove off into the water. Can't believe they did that. But I'm up there and I'm smoking a cigarette and I'm looking out and there was a bunch of dolphins. You could see their fins following surfers up to the shoreline and stuff. And I was like, that is so cool. And one thing I noticed is that I've got specks on both of my eyes. I've got these like black specks where I never knew they were there until looking at the white caps of the ocean rolling into that shore. It was like no matter where I looked, they were right there. And I'm like, oh, what the heck? So when we got back to New York, I went to my eye doctor and said, what in the heck? I'm sitting here and I'm looking at black specks on both of my eyeballs. Can you like give me a washout or something and see, make sure it's not like some kind of dust or something that got in there? And he looked at me and said, yeah, that's not dust. I was like, what? He says, as you get older, part of your retina, it'd be like a one tenth of a pixel size, I guess he said, or something like that. Part of your retina will just fade out and you lose sight in that one part of your eye. The older you get, the more it affects you. Well, he wasn't lying. You know, the older I get, right now, I can look at that chat. I'm only 2 feet away from that chat. I can't see nothing. I can see where people are typing, but I can't read any of it. With these on, I can read it. Although I have to be careful where I'm looking because, again, I got those dots in there that are just like dead spots and stuff. So, kind of weird. I really thought because we went through D.C. on the way back from Virginia Beach, and we did stop in D.C. on the way and use my credit card. I really expected to have the FBI over here, you know, knocking on my door going, hey, we see you were in Washington, D.C. on this date, and we really think on January 6th you might have been part of the group because you used your credit card in the area. Like, wow. Hey, Brett, are you saying you have tunnel vision, my friend? I don't think I would be able to deal with wearing contacts, to be honest with you. I don't like anything near my eyes at all, you know. I mean, yeah, I'll be out working on a job site and I got the saw and I'm not wearing glasses. Well, I do wear my glasses so I can see the line, but I'm not wearing safety glasses or anything like that. And same thing, you know, running a chainsaw, cutting down trees. I don't wear safety glasses for any of that stuff. Never have. But I don't like anything near my eye. And the last thing I need to do is be poking myself in the eye to try to put a lens in or trying to take it back out again. I don't think I would be able to do that. Beverly Moffat, that's really, really good to hear. What kind of cancer did you have, hon? Yeah, I don't like anything going near my eyes. I'm actually very fearful. Well, I can't say that. Breast cancer. Okay, my girlfriend went through that. She had to have a mastectomy. Playing guitar growing up, my dad used to freak out with us, but I would actually sit in a totally black room and I'd play my guitar. Totally black room. And he'd open up the door. What are you doing? Well, I'm practicing. Why ain't you got the light on? I don't want the light on. I don't want to be looking at my fingers. I don't want to see what my fingers are doing. And I just sit in that dark room and I just practice and practice and I practice. And my dad, I mean, I put the radio on. We had this like really good country station local on AM radio, and I'd put that on and I'd sit in there and I'd figure out what the chords were and I'd play with the radio and stuff. And it actually got to the point where my dad brought his amplifier and his guitar in, but he had to have the light on him. So I'd turn and I'd just face a corner or whatever, and he'd have the light shining on him a little bit so I could see his fingers and whatnot. And I told him, I says, you know, Dad, I says, that's actually a bad way to practice. And he's like, what? I says, you're always looking at your fingers. He's like, well, yeah, I need to see where they're at. And I says, no, you need to have your memory remember where they're at. You don't need to see it. And he's like, yeah, probably. So I always said, you know, I could probably live forever if I was blind because I could play music. But take away my fingers or my ability of hearing, and I would be probably at a major loss. Now, mind you, I'm 59 and I do have a little bit of hearing loss, but it's not that far off. I don't need to have hearing aids or anything like that. I just need to have people stop talking BS to me. I've got selective hearing now. Yeah, well, Brett, you know, when I grew up, I got my first guitar when I was like 5 years old, and the thing was a monster. It was a big folk guitar. I couldn't even wrap my arm over it and touch the string, so I learned how to play it with it laying flat on my lap like a lap steel. And I kept getting more time when my dad was at work of going in and playing on his electric guitar through his amp, because he wasn't never home, and my mom didn't care. She knew that the big guitar was too hard for me to learn how to play on, so I'd go in and I'd play on my dad's. And she didn't care. She was just like, yeah, whatever. Your father's not home. If you don't care, I don't care. Go ahead. And he tuned his guitar different than I do. I do it on a straight 440 tune for key of E, and he had a weird way of tuning it. But I learned his way of tuning it so I could put it back when I was done. And I actually was like being put up on stages and stuff at like 8 years old, playing like Wipeout and songs like that. My dad was lead guitarist. He couldn't play Wipeout, but I could. And I was getting put up on stage doing that stuff. And, you know, I went from having a really, really big guitar to having a smaller one. Restocking the meds for the week. That's always a fun project. Well, then when I moved into the like school systems and stuff, of course I was in kindergarten at 4 years old because my birthday's in October and they let me go in early. But in the school system, my brother Donnie learned how to play clarinet. Or no, I'm sorry, my brother Dale learned how to play clarinet. My brother Donnie learned how to play trumpet. I learned how to play flute. Well, the clarinet and the flute are exactly the same, except one's off to your side and the other one's in front of you. And the cornet is like a trumpet. It's only got 3 keys, so it's like a French horn and all that other stuff. Well, because I learned the flute, I played the clarinet, I played the flute, I learned the cornet, I played the tuba. The only one I didn't get to learn was, and I still to this day would really love to learn, would be saxophone and trombone. Although I don't think I want to walk around my house playing a trombone, but I think a saxophone would be really cool. I did have one that I bought that was, yeah, I used to play harmonica too. My dad was awesome on harmonica. I did have what was called a wooden saxophone that was made in China. It sounded like a saxophone, but it didn't play like a saxophone. It didn't play like a flute or a clarinet either. Certain fingers did certain things, none of it not with the music theory that I grew up learning. And so I gave it away. I found a kid that said, yeah, I want to learn it. And he was young. And I'm like, all right, here you go. Take it. He said, what do I owe you? I said, nothing. Just take it. You want to learn it? I'm going to give it to you. Go learn it. In the Still of the Night. When you get that all the way down, we'll come back and we'll play In the Still of the Night by Ronnie Millsap. You play the saxophone part of it. And I haven't heard back from him since. I don't know if he'll ever learn how to play the thing. It showed all the different notes and stuff on a piece of paper with it, so maybe he will. He was really good at guitar and never taught a lesson in his life, and kind of blew me away because his dad is also a bass guitarist for a band that's friends of mine that I print a lot of t-shirts and stuff for. And when the kid started working for me, I was like, he's like, oh man, mind if I touch your guitar? I says, you know how to play it? And he says, oh yeah. All right, go ahead. Well, then we started getting together and we were having these like miniature jam sessions together. I was like, okay, the work day is over with, you know, are you in a hurry to go home? And he's like, no. I said, well, grab that guitar. I'll grab my other one. Let's play a couple songs together or whatever. And we'd hang out for another hour or whatever, you know. Of course, he wasn't getting paid for that hour. He was just hanging out because he didn't have anything better to do. And he was actually very, very, very good. He actually wanted to buy my keyboard. And my girlfriend told him, no, that keyboard is not for sale. And I'm like, Leah, yes, it is. That keyboard, we've been in this house for 4 years. That keyboard's been in the music room for 4 years. Never plugged in. Never touched. When we lived in McLean for 5 years, I built a stand for it. I built a bench for it. And it was played mediocrely every once in a while. Her idea of playing the keyboard was 3 Blind Mice. My idea of playing the keyboard was a little bit above and beyond that, you know what I'm saying? But I really didn't have the want, the need, or the urge to do it very much. And then when we came here, I actually bought a course from a fellow who goes by the name of Piano Fool. Playing a whiskey jug's easy. All you gotta do is drink the whiskey first. You can play anything. Hell, you might be able to play spoons after that too. You might want to give that a try. Yeah, I bought into this program from a guy named Piano Fool, and he was doing lessons online. And when we moved from McLean to here, I think it was within the first month of moving, he stopped doing his online lessons. And I was like, dude, man, come on, I've been paying you money for these lessons, and now you're not doing them anymore. And he says, all right, give me $99. I'll send you every lesson I ever put out on a USB stick. And he did. He sent it to me. And I was like, cool. You know, it's like a stick with audio and video on it, basically. All the videos. I think it's like a 4 gigabyte stick. And I lost that stick for the longest time. And I finally found it. Of course, you don't find a stick. You find a bunch of sticks and you got to put it in the computer to see what's on it. I carry one in my pocket all day long, just so I can transfer stuff from one computer to the next, because throwing it into the cloud and bringing it back down here on this computer for some reason doesn't seem to like each other. And this is the one that runs the laser, so I have to be able to do it. But yeah, so I finally found that stick, and I was like, oh, okay, this is the Piano Fool. So I put it on the laser. I hit it with the LBT spray. I put it on the laser, and I lasered in Piano Fool on the top of the stick, so that I would always know what that stick was for. And I did it right the first time. It really blew me away. I did it right the first time. I didn't have to go back and flip it over and try again, or try to sand the stick down on the one part of aluminum that it was on. It turned out looking awesome. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. Actually, if you're hearing a clicking, that was probably the fan on that heater back there just shut off. Or it's my fingers on the table. It's not this part here yet. I'm ready to click, but this ain't it. Well, you know, trying to come up with things to talk about to people you kind of know, but you don't really know, and try to keep it interesting and make a good topic out of it isn't exactly the easiest thing to do, you know. If you've never done it, I do suggest you give it a try. I really do. Now, for me, I've been on stage all my life, so for me, it doesn't bother me to talk to a bunch of strangers. It doesn't bother me to get up on stage and play for a bunch of strangers. Most of them appreciate what I do when I'm on stage, so I'm kind of hoping everybody kind of appreciates what I do here. But it's not exactly super easy. It's also just one of those things that as you grow your channel, as you grow into what you're doing, and you're trying to make things be better than what you've been doing before, it gets a little bit easier. You know, you just look at something, okay, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. You know, for me, I have so many aspects of different things going on in my life that I can talk about. And you know, I mean, I could take you all the way back to my childhood and bring you all the way up to 59 years old if you wanted to. And there's a certain percentage of people that would like to listen to that story. But there's also a whole lot of people that will be like, so who gives a shit? You know, it's just one of those things. All right, so with everybody that's in here now, yeah, let's do this t-shirt thing one more time. I have to go back up and open that other one back up. Don't start doing it until I tell you because it's not there yet. Okay. All right, I'm getting it set up here. I'm almost there. We're going to change it up a little bit this time here. All right, so this time we're going to be going for hashtag t-shirt. Two. Oh. All right, that's the one we're going for right there, guys. T-shirt 2. If I can see if I can figure out how to do this share screen again. All right, there we go. That's our hashtag t-shirt 2. I like that a little bit smaller. Okay, well, that didn't really work out very much. That'll work. We'll make it work. It's just awful big. All right, well, let me try something different here. We'll go this way here and make that different. Nope, that didn't work. All right, we'll go back. There we go. All right, so t-shirt 2, and hey, Brett, you know, you got to get the winner to be able to get it. It doesn't tell me how many people are actually in there, which is kind of weird. Let me go back over to the tool and see if I can see what it says. Okay, we got 12 entries going in, and we got 14 people watching. I'm going to go ahead and do the draw. Again, if I win, I'm going to redraw because I can't win. There we go. 1 to Henry. Congratulations. You won the next. My email address is at the bottom. And all you got to do is send me an email. Tell me what size you want. Give me your mailing address. You don't have to put t-shirt 2 as the winner part of it or anything like that because all the t-shirts are the same. And I'll get you your t-shirt out to you. And guys, you know, I don't know. I'm going to have to take a Mother Nature break here if we keep going longer. We're up to 14 people watching, but I'm almost thinking that we've been on for over an hour and a half, and Gillum Farms, I believe, is coming up next. I think he goes on, I don't remember now. I think he goes on an hour after I do. So he's probably already on. Yeah, he goes on an hour after I do. And yeah, it's up to you if you want to go watch Johnny and Christina or whatever, or maybe it's just Johnny and Christina still on the road. I'm not too sure how that one worked out. But I'm gonna light this thing. If you guys want to still hang out, I'm gonna go let Mother Nature take care of business. I'll be right back. See how many are still here when I come back. Okay, I'm back. Hey, at least I didn't play a dog man and take the microphone in with me. That's one thing I will say about this Just Think little laptop computer that I'm using. It actually has really, really good audio built into it. I think the audio on this is probably better than the audio on the microphone I've got upstairs, which is actually a real studio microphone. That one to me seems awful bassy. I don't know. Yeah, that'd be funny, bro, because you can't just turn on the laser. This laser has so many pieces to it. You have to do it in order or it won't turn on at all. The first thing you have to do is go over into the corner over there and turn on the commercial chiller. Once that commercial chiller is turned on, then you can come over and you can turn the laser on. But there's another switch to the laser you got to turn on after the main laser is turned on. In other words, you go in and you put a design in there, and it'll go in and it'll pretend it's printing out the design, but it won't actually do anything. You actually have to turn the laser beam on too. Trust me, I've done it enough times to learn the hard way. But it is a great way to learn how long it's going to take to print something. I will say that. Of course, I use Lightburn, and then Lightburn, you can just click on a button and it'll say, well, this is how long it's going to take to do this job. I never use it. When I put something in the laser to do, I don't care how long it's going to take. I just did one today. It's actually still in the laser right now. As for one of the night lights, like everybody's been getting. Lazy Days Ahead was just talking about those today. It's for another one of those. I'm not going to show it to you because it's not fair for me to do that. It's not my place to spill the beans for other channels, basically. Yeah, I watch Star Wars too, and actually, I always thought it funny that they used to have that flip thing up. Beam me up, Scotty, and what happened? We ended up with flip phones. Scotty'd never beamed me up. I wish he would have, but yeah. We ended up with flip phones, and I'm pretty sure it was based on Star Wars, Lightsaber? Yeah, that wasn't Star Wars, was it? I thought that was a different one. I actually laughed with a lot of the, it's talked about on some YouTube channels about the predictions that the Simpsons had been able to do. They show something in a video, and lo and behold, it actually became true not too long afterwards. And was it Star Trek? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Star Trek. Yeah. Yeah, Star Trek was Beam Me Up, Scotty. All right, maybe it was Star Wars with the lasers. I laughed about with the Simpsons. You know, it was really ironic that they would actually put something in their show, and it would actually become true. It would actually become true. Like they were the first ones to put Donald Trump as the president. And I think that was like 2 years before he even decided to run for president. And he became president in their show, and I was like, that was a really, really cool episode. I watched it. You know, I watched a lot of The Simpsons. Adult humor, you know. I'd never let my kids watch The Simpsons because Bart was a little butthole. But, you know, I watched it. I enjoyed it. All right, let's see if we can close the window down here because we don't get that screen. There we go. That's better. Yeah, I laughed about all kinds of stuff like that, you know. And there's a lot of shows that way, actually. It's not just The Simpsons. There were a lot of shows where people were predicting things from the writer's point of view that actually became true to life, you know. Star Wars, the flip phone. Or Star Trek, rather, the flip phone. Yeah, beam me up, Scotty. Hey, Dad, come pick me up. You know, all that stuff. Car phones. I don't know how many of you guys ever dealt with a car phone. I bought a Cadillac that had a telephone built into the center console. And I really thought that was too cool. Anybody could call me anytime. And it was, you know, before we had to have the hands-free, because that was a regular handset telephone. There was a big satellite antenna dish mounted into the trunk. People could call you up. You pick up the phone out of the center console. Hey, what's going on, buddy? Hey, all right, yeah, I'll be right over. I'll pick you up. Hold on. You know, things like that. Yeah, we just about had related too. I always thought that car phone was cool. And one of the first things I did after I bought my Cadillac that had that built into it is I went out and I bought the bag phone that went to it. You know, you could have the car phone in your car, and you could take the bag phone and plug it into the satellite dish in the back, and then the rest of the phone was sitting in a bag. You just throw that over your shoulder, and no matter where you went, people could call you. It was cool. It was like the precursor to the cell phone by a long shot. It was still corded, and it was big. But you had it, you know. Remember like the old one of the first cordless phones they came out with. My Lord, that thing was a beast, wasn't it? I think our house phone that sat on the desk weighed about the same amount. Yeah, actually, Miami Vice car phones were very huge, and they actually were what I had in my Cadillac. And James, you're right. It was called the brick phone. The bag phone was called the brick phone. And it probably weighed a good, I don't know, 25, 30 pounds. You had to carry it around on your shoulder. The battery wasn't good for very long. You'd have to take it back to your car and plug it in to recharge it. And the original cell phones that they came up with, or the cordless phones rather, the biggest ones they ever came up with, those things were friggin' huge. I used to laugh about it. It's like, okay, well, they had to make the phone so big so it could hold the batteries. And no, that wasn't really the case. It was because they had to hold the electronics. And back in them days, the electronics weren't made like they are today, where you can put everything into a laptop computer and do the same thing you can do with a big desktop laptop or desktop computer, you know. They've been able to miniaturize everything down, get rid of all the resistors and all the tubes and all that stuff. And that was part of the car phone problem, was they didn't have the electronics to do it. Now we all carry cell phones that pretty much are car phones, you know, and they're in the little tiny case. And it's like, wow, it's phenomenal watching how these things go. Yeah, McDo, actually my bag phone that I carried with me actually used cellular services that weren't available to the average public. I think it was like $70 a month or something like that to do it. Yeah, I remember blackberries. Oh my God, do I remember blackberries? I actually had a court case going on at one point in time where my lawyer needed to be in constant contact with me. So I reached out to the local cell service and I said, I need to be able to talk to my lawyer, but I also need to be able to do this and do that. And they sold me on the BlackBerry. I think it was $679. The thing was about this big. You couldn't fit it into any single pocket you had. And it had a keyboard almost the same size as my computer. You know what I'm saying? You could actually type with one finger and not get two keys with it. Yeah, my BlackBerry was huge. I remember those very well. Actually, they were rubber ducky antennas is the one I'm talking about. The antennas used to be about this tall onto them, but there was a spring at the bottom, so if you hit something with it, it wouldn't break the antenna or bend it. It would just let it bounce all over and spot you side to head a lot of times. That's the one I remember. Actually, they were. I used to call them the funny phone. At my house, I used to have a really bad temper when I was young, really bad temper. And of course, I was running businesses back then too. So if somebody called me and started saying something I didn't like on the phone, I'd punch the wall. Can't punch them in the phone, punch the wall. And my dad got so mad about knuckle prints in his paneling on the wall. Unbeknownst to me, he went in and he rebuilt the whole closet that the phone was hanging on. And every inch of the wall of that closet where the phone was connected was made into 2x4s, nailed to each other, screwed to each other, or whatever, all the way across that whole wall. So when you punch that thing, you got a broken hand. He says, I'm tired of this. You're not leaving any more knuckle prints on my wall. And the first time I hit that wall was the last time I hit that wall. I had to go to the hospital. I was in a cast for 6 weeks. Didn't hurt the paneling at all. Yeah, Dad, you did a good job. I only did it when I got really upset, and it was when I was on the phone. You know, if that person would have said that to me at my face, I would have gone after him right down in there. I would have. I was that hot-headed. I would have just gone right after him, climb over the desk, do whatever you got to do to get to him. And actually, I used to do that with the principal when I was in high school. I had a principal in high school that I got along with great. We were on a first name basis and everything else. And he was the vice principal. Sam Cooper was his name. The principal, his name was John Stefano. And he was a jerk. And I told him so. He said something to me one day. I don't remember what it was. He said something to me one day, and I looked at him. I said, "You expect me to call you Mr. Stefano, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, then I expect you to call me Mr. Moffett. Equal respect or no respect at all." And he gave me some kind of a line of bull crap, and I went right over his desk and grabbed him by the throat and took him out of his chair and put him on the floor with my fist doubled up over his head before Sam Cooper came in and rescued him. And Sam said to me, he says, "Well," he says, "well, what happened?" And I told him, this is what he said to me, and it pissed me off. So I went after him. And he went over to John Stefano and he says, "John, his name is Dave. He calls me Sam. I call him Dave. We have equal respect. If you want to be called Mr. Stefano, you call him Mr. Moffett. Equal respect." And I laughed about it. I was like, okay, good. I got the vice principal on my side, and the principal hates my guts now. But it actually turned out to where no, he didn't really hate my guts. He actually learned a lesson. And when my son, I think he was in like 6th grade, I'm thinking, somewhere around there, he went to a school. It was a new school. We just moved to Cortland again. We had to go in for the teachers' parents conference for the beginning of the year to introduce your kids to the school and get them to do the walk around and get them to know where the classes are going to be and all that stuff. And lo and behold, John Stefano walked around the corner. And he stopped dead in his tracks. He looked at me and he says, Well, Mr. Moffett, and I said, Mr. Stefano, how you doing? He said, Dave, I'm doing great. And I said, good, John, good to hear. And I shook his hand. He says, well, he says, I retired quite a few years back. He says, but they called me out of retirement because they couldn't find a principal for the school, so I'm going to be the principal. I looked at him, I said, well, John, I'm going to warn you. This right here is my son, Brandon. And he's the same way I was growing up. He has the same respect and disrespect for people as I had growing up. You respect him, he'll respect you, but you treat him wrong, he's probably gonna come after you too. And the answer is no, I've already done that once. I'm not doing that again. Hey, light bulb once. Okay, well, Uncle Fester, did it light up? Yeah, Dave's not here, man. Cheech and Chong. I like that one. I should have. Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke was probably one of the best ones I ever watched. And it just so happened I watched it at a drive-in theater in a van. And when somebody got out of the van to go get some refreshments or use the bathroom or whatever, it looked like it did on the video. You know, you got the video of them opening their van door and all the smoke rolling out and people falling out. That's exactly what it looked like in that movie theater parking lot. We probably had 15 people tucked into a van that night. It was pretty good. Nobody wanted to pay full price. Yeah, I remember a lot of the Cheech and Chong albums. They had some pretty good ones. Going to America, I think it was called. That was a pretty funny song that they did together. And throughout the years, I've been watching these guys throughout the years. You know, Cheech actually played as a police officer. I think it was in Miami Vice. While Chong was getting arrested for selling bongs in a store that wasn't allowed to sell bongs in, or something like that. What other products do I sell? I sell garden seeds. I sell essential oils. I sell T-shirts. Hi, TNT. TNT, we're talking about everything tonight. It's going all the way around circle. I sell garden seeds. I sell essential oils. I sell artisan soaps. I sell T-shirts. The ones for the dollar seed part are different than the ones I sell or make for everybody else. Those actually are screen printed T-shirts, but they're screen printed on a piece of paper, so it's a transferable screen print. Once those run out, then I'm changing everything and saying, okay, it's not going to be all these different colors of T-shirts that we offer now, or all these sizes. Well, it'll be all the sizes, but it won't be all the different colors we offer now. It'll all be switching over to all polyester T-shirts and only in certain colors, because the problem with printing on colors using sublimation print is that whatever is white in the design, like a person's eyeballs, will be the color of the shirt. Now, we did play around and do it on silver shirts, and even though the kids' eyes do have a little bit of silver in them, there's something with the printer ink that actually makes it so that it's not white. Like, you don't look at the kid and look like he's got gray eyes, which is kind of cool. Any in turquoise. Well, I just did one in mint green today. I probably do have turquoise. I don't know. Up in my storage room, which is supposed to be my music room, I have probably about 28 cases of T-shirts of all different colors. And I can tell you now, in like what they call the girl T-shirts, there's hot pink. I remember seeing that today, and I think it was banana yellow. And those are the ones that, you know, they call it the girl T-shirt because it slims down around the belly area or whatever, and then it goes back out. I don't know. I try to do everything in unisex. Actually, Wanda, if you just want to buy T-shirts, I can hook you up with just T-shirts. especially turquoise or anything like that. I'm pretty sure my suppliers sell turquoise t-shirts. I mean, these guys sell of every color in the rainbow pretty much. I don't buy them because I don't want to print on them. If I did like a turquoise t-shirt, it would have to be like a black logo like mine on a turquoise t-shirt, but I don't think I could get them in polyester. I think they have like an aqua, but I don't think they quite go to the full turquoise. I do know that there's a lot of other ones that I can get. You want V-necks? All right, Brett, I'll look and see what I can get for you for V-necks, brother. I'm going to tell you right now that price t-shirts are a little higher this year than they had been in the past, but they're not terrible. You won't be able to go to Walmart and buy them for it, I can guarantee you. Brett, did you want V-necks with the pocket in them? I might be able to look them up for you too. If I can find them, I will. I'll send you a link. That way, you have direct access to them as well. Is Bill in here? I didn't see Bill sneak in. Hey, Bill, if you're here, I'm in here. Yes, pocket preferred. All right, Brett, I'll look and see what my suppliers have. If I can find one that has it, I will get a hold of you. If nothing else, you can email me at the address right here on the bottom of my screen. That way, I've got your email address, and I can send you a link to get them that way. And then, yeah, that'd probably be the best way to do it, actually, because I don't want to share it on somebody else's live, you know. And I really don't want everybody to know my suppliers of t-shirts either. So, but I'm not going to buy, you know, V-neck t-shirts with pockets in them for anything I'm doing. But if I can find them for you, that would be awesome. So I'll look for them. And you send me an email, I'll share them with you. All right, well, guys, we are headed on the 2-hour mark. I am ready to call this one tonight. It's my time, going on 10 o'clock. Email is always best. Always best. Hi, Karen. How we doing? Yes, please, everybody, thumbs up. Hit the like, the share, leave a comment, do whatever. And I want to call this one. I'm going to call this one because, like I say, it's going on 10 o'clock. And I've only eaten part of my dinner tonight. I made lasagna, and I got to warm it back up again to finish it because I wasn't paying attention to the clock. I got too wrapped up in Lisa and Jesse's today from Lazy Days Ahead with their giveaway. Yeah, 2 hours tonight. Isn't that funny, TNT? Yeah. All right, guys. I'll catch you guys next Saturday, same time, same place. Catch you all next time. Later.